What's up, dreamers? It's your girl Day with the first episode of DaiDreamsTV. Before we jump into today's episode, I just kind of want to give y'all a background on what DaiDreamsTV is. So it is a podcast that is meant to inspire generations filled with love, wisdom, realness, God, and that looks like talking about trauma, finances, marriages, brokenness, things that are just currently happening around us, and I'm just so excited. Back in 2019, just to give y'all a little bit of background, I started DaiDreams by just small little motivational clips. I just felt God inspired me to lift up not just my generation, but the people in general. The goal is to have people inspired, uplift people, and motivate them to keep going, like doing life in purpose and all in one, you know? So I'm super excited about today's episode. Today's episode is called What a Time, okay? And today I have my lovely friend Naomi. Can you please introduce yourself to the people?
Of course. Hey guys, my name is Naomi, aka The Multiply Her. I have a brand focused on multiplication, right, and the art of multiplication. And what that means, it's very heavily finance-based, but it's not limited to that, right? I think as women, a lot of times we overlook the gift that we have when it comes to not only multiplication of our finances, mindsets, emotions, just so many things that we are meant to produce.
I love it. You know? I love it. So we're going to go deep, friend. We're going to go real deep. We're going to go real deep because it's what a time, okay?
What a time it's been. Mighty God.
So my first question, and I need you to be real with my people because we're going to go deep, is what did 2022 look like for you? Like, how did you allow maybe the hardships in your year help you apply growth?
Okay, so in 2022, I experienced a lot of pain in the relationships that were closest to me, right? And the relationships that were the most intimate to me. I experienced a lot of hurt, you know, and although I experienced not so good things in those relationships, on the flip side, my relationship with myself was restored. And that was a big thing for me because that impacted so many areas of my life.
Yeah.
Where I experienced betrayal and distrust in relationships with other people, I learned how to trust myself, right? And I learned how to be honest with myself, even in my pain. So I think sometimes when you feel hurt, it's easier to mask it. It's easier to try and slide it under the rug. But I was real with myself. I allowed myself to feel. I allowed myself to sit. Those are things that I've never gifted myself with. And in those moments, I feel like I learned so much about myself. I created a strong relationship with myself. I became more self-aware. So that way I was able to look at my life in a more accurate perspective instead of just what I was feeling. I was able to separate. You know, I was able to feel my emotions, but they did not control the way I saw myself. They didn't control the way I saw the situation.
Yeah. I love it. I like when you said you allowed yourself to feel, because for me, okay, I realized that I was the type of person that was so quick to like, nope, hurry up and do life again. Hurry up and get back in purpose. Hurry up and do ministry. Hurry up and go be an entrepreneur instead of allowing myself to sit in the emotion. I feel like towards the beginning of the year, it was a breeze. I was like, okay, I'm making good money, you know, life. I was living life, you know what I'm saying? And to truth be told, I made the most money I've ever made in my life in 2022. And so I was allowed to experience, you know, the opportunity to not feel financially in this bondage. You know, I felt like I was walking in freedom. I felt like I was able to like live life in a different way. And so at the end of the year, you know, God was just like, a couple of things was, you know, I was like, wow, okay. And so it looked like sitting still. And I'm sitting in my room days, weeks, maybe a month or two. And I'm literally sitting here like, why am I not doing anything? And God is literally like, I need you to sit in my presence. Like, I need me and you time. And it was so hard because I'm just like, it's just like my thoughts. It's just me. You know what I'm saying? Like, how do I navigate? How do I get through this? And sometimes not just as like believers, but just as people, we're so quick to like, go do self-care. And there's nothing wrong with self-care, but sometimes you literally got to sit even in those darkest moments. You got to be okay with not being okay. You got to like, even if you don't know the answer, you got to be okay with it. And so that was a lot. I spent a lot of days crying. I mean, balled up. Why are you doing this to me? And even, go ahead.
No, I feel like this is really real, but I think it's so hard for us sometimes to sit still and to allow God to show us, because we are so programmed. Like, think about it. Our society programs us, our social media programs us. Life programs you to always be moving at a fast pace, right? And the disadvantage in that is, if you're so focused on moving, you're not focused on learning from what you've already experienced. And for me, that was a big thing. Like, let me just move, because then I don't have to feel. But the reality is, every time I rob myself of feeling, I'm robbing myself of self-development. Right? So me thinking that I can protect myself was insane. Because for one, it shows how insane we really are. But because, in a way, you have unconsciously taken on a God complex, right? Because now you believe that you know what's best for you. You believe that you know what you need to do to heal. And one of the biggest things I heard God say to me when I was sitting still was, allow me to show you where you are broken and how you can become whole in that. And if I would not have sat still and been in those rough moments, like that's what I'm saying, it's so bittersweet, because in the most painful moments, I do mean like crying, like, God, what did I do to deserve this? And I have always prided myself on being aware to a certain extent, right? So it's tough when you feel like, God, what did I do that would result in this? Especially when it comes in relationships with people, right? It's like, I was this to you, and you were that to me. And I was perfect. My God.
But I know what I brought to the table.
But one thing I can say was, I was real. You know what I'm saying? And when you feel like, or not even when you feel like, when the reality is that same respect wasn't given to you, it can shift your whole perspective of yourself. And that's why I feel like I found so much peace. Because my situation didn't change. The hurt didn't change. But I found peace in being okay with not being okay. Like how you said. And I found peace in the reality of separating my emotions from the situation. And I found peace in taking accountability for my part in certain situations. You see what I'm saying? It might not have been the worst thing that was done, but I had a hand in it. And I learned from my own mistakes. I learned how to trust the voice of God within me. Because if I'm being very honest, most things in life don't just happen. There's always a path that leads up to it. Right? And so many times we want to blame God for what's happened when you ignore what.
Big on the what's the mentality where you're trying to like play victim, basically.
No, because it's kind of like we want to sit here and say this and say that, feel, and that's okay, feel. But there were so many signs. Right?
Because he gives the signs.
No, he's out now.
He will reveal.
Something that and even in me learning myself, I've realized, in order for you to be, or to have a high level of spiritual accuracy, you have to be self-aware. You have to be. If you don't have a grip and certain perspective, an accurate perspective of yourself, you will never be able to see anything else around you in its truth, in its reality. We live, and what's pushed on us and what's exalted is for us to create reality that protects our emotions, protects our feelings, protects our perception of ourselves, which limits us from seeing the real. Here's the reality. The truth is not based off of your feelings. The reality of a situation is not based off of of how you feel or what benefits you.
You'll miss it every time.
You'll miss it every time. And that's why it's easier to hide. It's easier to not confront. It's easier to create a certain reality so that you don't have to face it. But I guarantee you at the end of every day, no matter if you choose to, you're presented a choice. And something that I'm proud of myself for. And I thank myself, I thank myself, I thank myself, I thank myself. I chose to see me. I could have.
I love it.
I could have just said, I don't really. I don't want to. No, I chose to see me. I chose to see me in my brokenness. I chose to see me in my pain. I chose to see me in my betrayal. I chose to see me in anger. I chose to see me in every light. And now no one can use that against me because I know what I know what broken Naomi looks like. I know what angry Naomi looks like. I know what betrayed Naomi looks like. I know what Naomi in an emotional. I know what she looks like, and I wasn't scared of how foreign she was. I wasn't scared of how she came off. I didn't care. I needed to get to know her so that I could figure out what is the root of this. A lot of times we're looking at other people, and that's it. A relationship with another person, it'll fool you to think that that what's happening within you is because of that other person. Nah, baby, it's a root within you of what's happening and why what's happening.
Because what's attracted in you that's attached. Come on now. Come on now. But we also have to understand that we serve a God that lives outside of time. And so when he's pulling these things up under the rug, when he's making us aware, he's not thinking about our feelings. Let me just say that. He cares nothing. No, and I'm not going to say he doesn't care, but it's not, there's a bigger purpose in mind. Like, I need you to heal, not just for you, but for your kids' kids, for the people that you're called to embrace. You know what I'm saying? I think for me, I said, pick somebody else to do it. Because I can't do this. And I think for me, being honest, I was on my high horse. I was very prideful, like, oh no, I'm Dayana. I do this. I hear from God. I heard him the first time. And it was like God brought me all the way to the floor. Like, let me show you. Let me show you why as a wife you should do more of this. Let me show you how you allowed the things that your parents did. You know what I'm saying? Like, let me reveal it. And it was like, it felt like it came all tumbling down at once. But it was like, no, I've been revealed this to you. You just ignored it. And so I think it's important to always be humble before God. Be humble. Like, you don't know everything. There's always room for growth. There's always room to heal. It's not just for you. It's for the people that surround you. You, off of a conversation, somebody can literally be embraced.
It's the tough one.
Somebody can be embraced based off your healing. And I remember when we had a conversation, it's crazy because it was going through the same thing at the same time. And I remember when we had a conversation, I'm like, wow, I felt so embraced. I'm like, oh my God, I need to go figure out who I am. I need, like, just seeing you, it was like, you were broken, but you were healing at the same time. And it's so beautiful all in one, you know. And it was just, I loved it. I loved it.
They were. I think one of the best things I could have did in my healing process was not set an expectation of what it was going to look like. Because there were many, many, many times where I was just in so much pain. I mean, crying. And God is within me, but God operates through me. He gives me the choice to choose to be under his submission, right? And so for me, I had to understand the difference between my ego and then it was like a fight, myself and my ego, right? And
because doesn't it feel like you're losing yourself?
No. Now
it almost feels like you're losing who you are and how you grew up.
And it's crazy because how you grew up. I had to dig deep. Where did these attachments to my ego come from? A lot of it came from my childhood. I grew up in a household where my dad was heavily strung out, addiction-wise, and my mother, because she was dealing with that, was emotionally unavailable. So I grew up in a household where I took on the identity of being the glue to my family at a young age. You see what I'm saying? And because I've always had that pressure on me, it's taught me how to numb myself. Because somebody crying doesn't get the job done.
Wow.
That's how I grew up.
Yeah.
I grew up in, all right, you're crying, but we gotta do this because the lights have to stay on.
Yeah.
My mom was a woman that worked the pain away. So she worked. So yeah, I think she's a woman from Jamaica. She moved here, started her own business, and then her husband is strung out. You know what I'm saying? On, you know. So it was a very violent household that I grew up in, and I adapted to that. Yeah. Right. So somewhere deep inside of me, I created these attachments of my ego based off of what I could do. Yeah. Now check this. As I grew older, and I never allowed myself to feel. I never allowed myself to deal with the impact of those situations as a child. I started attracting people that looked like my dad. I attracted people that acted like my mom. I attracted these people that were feeding my ego. Wow. I'm thinking they're good for me, but they're good for the attachments that I had to my trauma. You see what I'm saying? And for me, I had to separate the two because I was realizing I was fighting what God wanted for me and my God-given true self into things that I was comfortable with that fed who I thought I was. That's why I said this year introduced me to deeper levels of me. Yeah. Because the woman that I am today, I had no idea she existed. Yeah, yeah. But she only existed because what I was familiar with was ripped away. Wow. So I had to find a way to it. You know what I'm saying? The one thing I think the biggest lesson I've learned is you don't get to choose the situations you're met with in life. Yeah. You get to choose how you react to them, right? And you get to choose how they impact you. Yeah. And I had a choice to make. Yeah. I had a choice that I could either make this situation that, let's be honest, because it was so close to my heart, I could have made it switch into a different type of person, or I could have allowed myself to say, what does this really mean for me? Yeah. Because this has to show a deeper level of something. Have to. There has to be that. Like, I refuse to think that I am just, and not only, hold on, because not only that. When you're scared to repeat when you notice a cycle in your life, at some point you're like, wait a minute. Yeah. You know it's a pattern. Yeah, yeah. So that, to me, that got my attention. Like, I think one of the best things I heard last year was God will present to you the same test until you pass it. And will. He'll present. I don't care if it's in a different area of life. They're all connected. I'm going to realize all of these areas of my life are connected. Yeah. And the common denominator is me. Yeah. We can sit here and point fingers and say, but regardless of what happened to me in my childhood, I'm the common denominator. Yeah. No matter what happened to me in my relationship, I am the common denominator. Yeah. All these areas of my life connect. Yeah. So let's get down to the nitty gritty of why I am responding to these situations in the same way. Yeah. And what are these responses doing for me? Just because the response isn't outwardly harmful doesn't mean you're not inwardly harming yourself. So for me, I said, well, I've experienced this in my childhood, and I'm not as emotionally unavailable as my mom is. Yeah. And I'm not strung out on drugs. Yeah. But guess what? I was inwardly. Yeah. The same damage that was being done, but I was inwardly doing the same damage to myself. Yeah. So as I'm becoming more self-aware, I'm realizing I owe it to myself. That's why I'm so serious. Yeah. I'm not letting up. It's not for nobody else. That's what I'm saying. But to get to that point where I am now, I'm not getting up off me. Yeah. Because I understand now. That's good. Now I see myself for the fullness of who I am. Yeah. I see myself the fullness in the beauty. Yeah. I see myself in the beauty, the fullness in the not so beautiful. Yeah. And they're both important. Yeah. So they're both important because the beauty of life is not what's given, but it's the growth that you do through life. I've accepted that I'm forever going to be growing. Yeah. I've accepted that I'm forever going to meet new versions of myself. I'm okay with that.
And we also got to understand that God loves us so much in those moments. I think for me, especially when I first gave my life, but I think also the most beautiful part, I think for me, I kept God at this surface level. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to come to you when I'm strong, when I got all these. And God's like, no, I want you when you at your lowest. And I think that, I allowed, because I had such a hard time being vulnerable with my friends, I portrayed that on my relationship with God. And because I'm trying to portray this image, because I did that for a long time. I did the same thing with God. And God is like, yeah, you're talking, you're being vulnerable, but you're not giving me all of you. And so I really had an encounter this year where God brought me down to my knees. Like, I don't want anything else having more glory than me. Like, I want everything. I want the hurt. I want the pain. I want the trauma. I want the not knowing. I want the insecurities. I want all of that. You get what I'm saying? And so it's like I'm embracing those moments when I don't feel good, when I don't want to go to the gym, when I want to sit on this couch,
my friend,
and cut on a Netflix series. I'm embracing even those moments. It's not about always having it figured out. It's not always about being put together. It's when you at the low bottom. That's so beautiful. And that's how you just build that intentional relationship with God. Like, that's more than my father. That's my homeboy.
No.
That is my best friend.
He
gets us. He gets
us. It's tough. And it's crazy because something I feel like I realized through even gaining intimacy with me was an intimate relationship. Right? Because God creates us in His own image. Right? And I realized questioning and pushing the deepest parts of myself away. Not only was I rejecting me, I was rejecting God. God created me like this. I have to honor myself by seeing who God created me to be. I see things. I dream. I feel things deeply. I'm deeply layered. And I even the bad things. I got a smart mouth. Let's talk about a smart mouth. I got something to say now. I might not say it, but you're gonna see it on my face a little. Okay? I have an attitude at times. You know I live sometimes from a past traumatic place. I see sometimes the worst in people before I see the best. Right? But I had to honor those things. Not honor the effects of them, but honor what they were so that I could accept God's love for me in His fullness because I am made in His image. Period.
I think for me, and it's not an issue, but I see the best in everything and best in people. And so what I did was, even through the hurt and pain, I ended the year off with having to adjust certain relationships because I put Diana last. I put me last because I'm just like, no, they're gonna, no, it's not like that. No, this is going, and God is just like, you're compacting trauma. You putting it on top of each other, and what it's doing is it's creating this bitterness in you. And so what you're doing is you're smiling, but on the inside you're like, I hate this person.
You're repressing yourself.
I hate this person, and I can't wait to leave. I really wish wrong on them. And it's like, you're not but God knows what's in your mind and your heart. And so at some point, like you said, those cycles repeat itself. And so I have to, when I'm by myself, those questions hit yourself. When you going to deal with that? When you going to be real with yourself? When you going to stop putting Diana last? And so I remember you told me the other day, you was like, it's so uncomfortable because you never put you first. And it almost feels wrong. But it's right.
It's so right.
Put you first. And it's not being selfish, but in a point, it's like, I have to deal with these things.
Because if I'm not good, nobody around me is going to be good. Here's the thing about being self-aware, right? There's levels to self-awareness. There's, if you're just not self-aware, that's that level. The second level is when you depend on your community, which is people around you to be self-aware. The third level is when you are yourself self-aware. Now that's the different level. Because then you have to hold yourself accountable for the decision that you do make or the decision that you choose not to make. Right? You have to face you. You have to face the impact. You can't blame nobody else. Because you know. You can blame somebody else when you don't know. But once you know, you are accountable for those actions that you do. You're accountable for the way it translates. You're accountable for that. And I think sometimes we think that if we just suppress everything and if we just make it look a certain way and cover it up a certain way.
Because it's so heavy in our generation. Let me get on social media and post this. I've done it myself. Nope. I got to look like, no. Here.
The angle.
Chin up.
Chin up, baby. Chin up.
Because that's what they want to see. But I'm done with that.
Yeah,
you know, and at the last year, I was just like, oh, I'm going to be more vulnerable. No. And I'm going to be more vulnerable.
Yeah.
If it's going to help other people.
Yeah, absolutely.
I can't do that. I'm not, the image of even what I thought I should look.
Right.
It's gone.
Right.
You know, I'm no longer, I am on a path to, again, what does the fullness of Diana look like? I haven't even reached my full potential.
That is a scary but yet a powerful place to be.
Yeah.
I'll be honest. I remember earlier last year actually, I would get these visions about doing exactly what we're doing now.
Woo.
So I would see visions and I'd be pacing.
Yeah.
I'd hear the words I'm saying. Now imagine the situation that would bring me to speak these words. Hadn't happened yet. I'm thinking like, this good revelation.
Yeah.
Not only was it a pre-warning, or not even pre-warning, but a pre-show to what I was going to go through, right? But it helped me to see that the reality of doing life with God is God sees you before you see you. That's why it's so important to be connected to Him in the deepest of ways, right? And I think for me, it was always, God, I feel like I know why this had to happen. I feel like I know where this is leading me. But the reality is, I had no idea. Because what I was holding on to while I thought I was walking towards His promises and His fullness, it was pulling me even further away.
We think we know more than Him.
Tough.
He's here and, sweetie, you down here. You need to take a seat. You need to take several seats. No, seriously. And it's just like, I'm telling, like, God knows us more, way more than we know ourselves. I'm sitting here on the couch like, God, I'm about to tap out. You need to pick somebody else because, and God is like, no, I know what I'm doing. The thing is, I was telling Legacy this earlier. When we're changing and when God is healing us, in the practical, it feels like it's so hard. But in the spirit, we don't know what's transforming. You don't know what's happening. And so you get put in this situation in the next season. And you're like, wow, I'm applying something that I learned last year. I'm applying something that I learned. Like, we're not the same people that we was even last week. We're constantly growing. Constantly growing. And so I want to wrap it up and say, I want people to keep going. I don't want it to be, just because it's the new year, like, every day is new. You get what I'm saying? Be intentional about writing things out. Be intentional about your healing. Be intentional about your growth. Even just with the DaiDreamsTV, it's so crazy because today I was looking at some of my old videos from 2 years ago when I was in my daddy room. I got the bed sheet cover in the background. You gotta do what you gotta do. And even leading up to today, I'm like, oh my God, I'm nervous. What am I gonna say? How am I gonna look? And God is just like, don't lose focus. Don't lose focus. And so God, the Holy Spirit said, look at the videos. I'm looking at the videos and everything, and I'm saying in those, and I want you guys to go look at it. Everything that I'm saying in those videos, guys, I want to do DaiDreamsTV. I want to have people come on. I'm like, 2 years later, you never know what God is preparing you for. And so I think even for me in those moments, I'm like, I got to do this. Perfect timing. Perfect timing. You can never miss it. No. I'm sitting in the evidence of something that I spoke 2 years ago.
Check this, because you were sensitive, and now this is a prayer that I recently have been praying. God, allow me to be sensitive to the seasons. Not sensitive to what I want to see. Not sensitive to what I think it should be, but allow me to be sensitive to the seasons so that I'm in alignment. Right? I'm in alignment to your voice and your will. Because I don't want anything outside the will of God, and I don't want anything that's too soon or too late. When you're in alignment, you move in perfect synchronization. Right? And that's why I think it's so crazy, because 2 years ago, God gave you the vision, but He didn't show you the journey. You would have. Most people think when they get the vision, it has to happen right then. No. It's in His. When you're in His will and in His season. The season for the present time, I'm telling you.
He only gives you a little bit. Because the goal for the DaiDreamsTV is to become broadcast all over the world. Don't know when, don't know how. I'm in my living room, on my couch, not even fully furnished. But I'm following what God is doing. I'm following it. You don't gotta have it all figured out. I'm just following the voice. It's not about me. It's about the people.
And guess what? The reality is, that. Sometimes we become to unconsciously do things because of the result. But even if it does, I honored myself and I honored God because I trusted.
That's all that matters.
And I did what I felt led to do. And that's what it's about. You know what I'm saying? The most spiritual things are oftentimes in the details, the smallest details. And saying things that people look for the big and the flashy. But the most impact happens behind.
Even if it saved one person.
It's the most spiritual thing.
That's all that matters.
It's in the smallest things that people that we're trained to overlook. That the biggest change happens. And
I love this.
Tough.
I love this. So before we wrap it up, what is one thing that you can leave with the people to just empower them?
If I could leave you with one thing, I would say every day is an opportunity to know yourself in a greater way. And every day is an opportunity to see God in a new way. God is everywhere. I see Him. The more things I go through, the more I see Him.
He's realer.
It's tough.
Sometimes I'm like, oh, it's real. You're ringing in my ear. You're
don't
loud.
Because
He's always talking.
No, it's like train yourself to see God in ways that you're not so familiar. Right? Because it's in there that you really begin to grow those bonds. Not only with God, but with yourself.
I love that. And I want to wrap it up because we'll be doing this after every episode. I want to wrap it up with a hug. I love you. I love you, boo. And thank you. And let's just have a toast.
As we should.
To the first episode of DaiDreams.
Congratulations.
Love it. What you think? Kendall, what you think? You're a hater.
Not I.
I love Naomi. You was.
Really?
Yeah.
And stuff. I don't remember half of what I said.
That was good.
That's me, no, it was God.
No, it was God.
No, it had to be.
Yeah.
It had to be.
I was like, I hope it's not too long. I want to lose there, but somebody gonna tune in and watch that.
I'm so glad I got specific.
Yes.
I got to tell me talk about my dad and my mom.
Wow, I love that. Naomi. I love it.
My God.